So happy to be with all of you. It's really a delight. Nice to see old friends and old regulars on here and new names too. Warm welcome. So as you're seeing or thinking about the weather reports you're seeing in the chat, the invitation is also to check out the weather report inside. You don't have to type it in, but just notice. Is it metta? Is it enthusiasm? Is it kind of tired? It's all good. So, friends, I'm going to start the recording. And the invitation is to start to settle inwards, start to settle inwards. And I'll just mention the theme this week is on inner and interpersonal Dharma well-being. So noticing just how the word well-being lands for you. Feel it in your heart. And then turning the attention inwards. Maybe turning off any devices or other things that might distract you. Maybe, as I'm about to do, taking that last sip of tea so that my voice lasts. And finding your posture of balance, connection, groundedness. Perhaps taking a couple of longer, slower, gently deep breaths. Letting the breathing be natural. The invitation is to take an interest in whatever your internal ecology is today. The feeling of your heart, the mood, whatever's happening in the mind, just greeting it with a gentle friendliness. And allowing the heart, the mind, the body to settle in this moment. Resting on sensations of breath, the overall soundscape, your weight, your body. All the details of this moment. And noticing that breath and sensations are the aliveness, the language of vitality of this body. taking an interest, closely being with each breath, each moment, with a warmth, a care. Falling in love with each breath. Noticing the difference between the in breath and the out breath. Allowing the out breath to be a release into relaxation. This here. Call this home for these moments. If you find the mind wanders, that's natural. Greeting each moment of returning here with friendliness, interest. What is this moment like? And again, resting in the flow of in breath, out breath, present. And in the last couple of moments of this meditation, the invitation is to recollect, gather any moments of goodness, good intention, mindfulness, peace, ease, awareness, any moment in this time of practice together. And let yourself be nourished by them. Appreciate them. And then allowing to any moments of challenge or difficulty. And holding them with kindness, compassion, care. These too are moments on the path. And from that place of care, compassion, casting your internal gaze outwards to the others in your life, and wishing that they may be well, safe, peaceful, and free. Thank you for your practice. So thank you for our meditation together. It's really meaningful for me. Um, Most of you probably don't know this, but I was involved in IMC beginning these YouTube sits back at the very beginning of the COVID shelter in place here in California, in the US. Helped out a little bit here and there. And so I watched regularly for quite some time. And like you, feel a part of this online global Sangha. So it's a delight to be with you. And today, introduce again the topic for the week for those of you who tiptoed in late into the YouTube sits. And the week's theme is on inner and interpersonal sources of Dharma well-being. Dharma well-being. And these are on cultivating qualities helpful for internal and interpersonal flourishing. And I'll start with the theme a little bit for the week by telling a very condensed story So if you can picture in ancient India, the time of the Buddha is sitting around with a group of his practitioners, probably monks. And I picture it being kind of dusk evening. Maybe they've got a fire going. It's kind of cozy. And he's telling this ancient story of a series of kings and how through a series of mishaps with the eighth in this line of seven amazing kings, society began to have difficulties. A lot of bad things happened, and there began to be societal tensions and division, and eventually kind of a breakdown. And then he talks about how through developing these inner qualities, especially ethical qualities, society regenerated itself. And then he finishes the story by encouraging everyone to develop beautiful qualities in relationship to themselves and each other. And he talks about five kinds of well-being practitioners in particular can develop, even in difficult times. And they are spiritual power or empowerment, true beauty, happiness, heart wealth, and freedom. And I'll unpack each of these over the course of this week. But the theme this morning, or whatever time of day it is for you, is spiritual empowerment or spiritual power. And I'm going to talk through four areas of this. But first, I just want to say they're all kind of held by, supported by joyful, enthusiastic engagement with practice and a sense of immersion as best you can in the moment. So, the first of these is healthy desire. Healthy desire. And in spiritual circles and in meditation practice, desire often gets a bad rap. And sometimes for justified reasons. There can be desire for unhelpful, even unhealthy, distracting things, or even being overly fixated on a good goal, a healthy goal. Both of those can kind of run counter to meditative spiritual development. But chanda, the word for desire in the ancient language of Pali, is actually neutral. And there's something known as Dhamma chanda, desire for the Dharma, a wholesome practice, process of being in love with the practice of meditation. It's considered to be skillful at many stages of development. And it has these qualities of being kind of expansive or open rather than obsessive and constricted. It's the difference between this grasping hand or the fist and an open hand, holding things lightly. In relationship with others, this kind of holding things lightly manifests as a wish, desiring the best for them and oneself in the relationship of both. It's bringing out the best. So, this kind of empowerment, I want to empower you to be in love with meditation, to desire what is in the moment, and to be present with it completely. This second area of spiritual empowerment, or second road to power, as they're sometimes called, is a sense of balanced energy and vitality, balanced effort, virya in the Pali. And this has a range of intensity from heroic effort, really strenuous effort, like hiking up a big hill, or very kind of soft, gentle persistence when you're walking down a gentle slope, maybe a great view. And it's helpful to balance, adapt the amount of energy, life energy, and effort we bring to a meditation session or another situation. The Buddha likened this to tuning a stringed instrument. And many years ago, I lived in San Francisco and I cohabitated at the time with this beautiful baby grand piano. And we had to have tuners come kind of regularly because the tuning of the strings changed with the weather. It changed with the seasons. The conditions changed and the tautness and the strings needed to be adapted. And it's just like that for us in meditation. The conditions change and we attune a little bit differently. The next one here is to be aware of the overall state of mind, the intentness or the distraction of our minds. The chitta, it's called, or chitta, some people pronounce it. The subjective experience of mood, of being, of concentration or distraction. It's like the overall weather report, the overall landscape or ambient sound around us. It's the gestalt, the whole. And the instruction isn't to make it be different. Instead, it's to notice and appreciate when helpful overall qualities of mind are there or can be invited, especially to appreciate relaxed intentness, this kind of slow, steady interest, willpower that can be there, and be kind to any state of mind. It's a huge benefit. And then this fourth area of empowerment is interest and experimentation. The Pali word for this is vimamsa, vimamsa. And it's kind of like being a naturalist for your internal ecology of the body, heart, and mind. I told this story at Insight Santa Cruz recently of walking along a forest path and turning a bend. And it's like this kind of remote area, beautiful park area. And the friend who describes this story was walking, and when she turned this bend, she encountered this young man just completely belly down across the path, intently studying a little plant. And she said hi, and he looked up at her, and his smile just lit up his face, lit up the interaction. He was a botanist, and he was completely jazzed about finding the details, the little foliage differences and textures of this plant in the wild. And it's that kind of just delighted interest that it's helpful to bring to the details of meditation, like the breath, like the sensations, like the mood itself, like how the meditation is flowing or not. To notice, get interested in the object of attention, it's called. And there can be kind of an art, a science to it in the sense of experimentation too. Noticing inputs and outputs, noticing, oh, I do this and that happens. Or this arises and then that went away. It's kind of like a young kid learning to paint, maybe in kindergarten or something. When I put these colors together, they do this. And when I add that one, it makes brown. Oh, interesting. Or like a sailor, when I adjust the sail this way, the boat does this. When I adjust it that way, it moves course. It's this process of adjusting course, shifting, responding, being responsive, and a stepping back from time to time, just like a painter, to see the overall picture. This interest, experimentation, this caring interest is helpful in a meditation session, and it can be helpful in interactions. Like, how many times have we walked by a neighbor or the postman and said, hey, how's it going? But not really engaged, just being polite or casually friendly, and that's fine. But then showing up with real interest and maybe stopping in the sunshine or the wind and having a deeper conversation with that person. The difference is the level of interest. And sometimes that mutual interest can connect. And it's just like watering a plant. The relationship grows, it begins to flourish. So, this is a tiny introduction, very short introduction to the Buddha's teachings on spiritual empowerment, bases, supports for meditative success, for internal power, taking our own weather with us wherever we go. And I just want to acknowledge this particular teaching emphasizes more doing than a lot of mindfulness teachings do. You don't have to do too much. You really don't. These explorations, these kind of playful, light ways of addressing things unfold best in a field of relaxation, ease, trust in the practice. And if you want to learn more about this particular set of teachings, I unpacked them in detail back in December of 2022 on this YouTube series. So you can check them out then. And for this series, tomorrow, we talk about Dharma beauty, cultivating Dharma beauty. So thank you. It's a delight to be with you. Thank you very much for your practice, everyone. And maybe between now and tomorrow, just notice for yourself if there are moments of a healthy being in love with the moment, Dharma desire, moments of fluctuations or attunement of Dharma energy, vitality, effort, moments of awareness of your overall mind, and the effect of delighted interest, experimentation on your day, on your relationships, on your practice. Thank you, everyone. Be well. May all beings benefit from our practice together.